What's good, beautiful people? It's your main man, Big G, here on Industry Talk, and welcome to Primetime Pop, the hottest information resource outlet for all things entertainment. Breaking news, celebrity interviews, and the hot topics of the day. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow us on all social media platforms. Our Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, you name it, we're on it. Just Google us. Boss Talk Podcast 101 Primetime. Okay. Yes, indeed. All right. Brother Ken.
Hey, what's up, man?
I'm good, man. How you doing this evening?
Man, I'm smooth. I'm smooth.
Good stuff. We going live, and I got the pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, of sitting here with a legend. I consider him a legend, um, simply because of what he's gone through in his life, where he's from, straight out of Chicago, right?
Yeah, born in
19,
Chicago,
1964,
raised in Milwaukee, huh?
raised in Milwaukee back in
Yeah,
1964.
yeah, yeah.
1964. You're a legend in the game, man. You Pimps Up, Hoes Down, HBO consulted with you
Mm-hmm.
for that. Um, you've been on, when I say numerous A-list celebrities' music, from Jermaine Dupri, Mac 10, 50 Cent,
Mm-hmm.
you name it, you've been in the mix. Um, Players of the Year ball,
Yeah,
you won Player of the Year
yeah.
back in the day. Now, who bestowed it? Was that Bishop Don Juan that passed you the torch on that, or how did that actually?
No, actually, that's been going on for a long time.
Okay,
Bishop Don Juan just held it down
okay,
in Chicago, and I held it down in Milwaukee.
gotcha.
So, you know, I've been to several of them, and I won uh, Player of the Year, International Player of the Year. I won about 10 different trophies in different cities and different states.
And you well known all around the world.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you well known all around the world. And the 48 Laws of the Game, a bestseller.
Yeah,
That's a book that you have that you self published.
yeah. No,
And
Simon Schuster published
Simon
it.
and Schuster. Okay, so I did get
I
some.
published The Art of Human Chess.
Okay,
My other book,
the other one.
Study Guide to Winning. I published that one.
Okay. So what inspired you to write the 48 Laws of the Game? Just to give us a little
Man,
background on that.
man, I was chilling and I was out doing my thing, and Simon Schuster called me. He offered me 25,000. I said they won't even pay for the front end clip on my Benz. They called me 2 years later, said we got a quarter million. And
Okay.
when I was in prison, I used to write a lot. You know, we had the more science tip. I used to write for the Sunday school, so I had a lot of writing skills. And then I took prison courses, English 101, English 102. So I would write letters just to papers and stuff to see if they would publish them. So I had a little experience with writing. So when they put that money in front of me, man, it's amazing how you get creative. I just
Right.
my hands just got to
Just
moving,
got
and I didn't realize I could remember verbatimly, what I had went through. But fortunately for me, I did have, see, nothing in life just happened. The steps of a good man are ordered by the Creator who was never created. So you think that you're doing something and it doesn't have any bearings and it doesn't make any sense
mhm.
at the time. You don't know why you're doing it. And then lo and behold, somebody offer you $250,000. And those skills that you learned in prison and that all that writing you did, it becomes in handy. So that was primarily what had happened. I was pretty much offered a deal that I couldn't refuse, but they say opportunity and preparation is what success meet. So I was prepared and the opportunity came.
Mhm. So you said you sat down for a little while. How long did you spend in prison?
Well, the first few years, first time I went to jail was at the Cook County jail in Chicago. My brother had pushed somebody, I guess because I was with him. They assumed I was party to a crime,
Mhm.
and we ended up laying down for 3 months, and then I got out. My mama moved us to Milwaukee, and then I went there, and I ended up trying to cash a check with somebody else's name on it. I had to be the stupidest person on the planet at that time.
Mhm.
And I ended up getting a forgery charge, and I ended up doing about 3, 4 months. After that, at this time, I'm a career criminal. I'm
Right.
in there with more criminals. So they talking about how they was doing this.
Hmm.
I said, I can't wait to get outside and try what these fools did. Because they make it sound so interesting, like it's so much money involved. And so that's when my life of crime began, after doing those little too short uh, time periods. And then I ended up going to jail for robbing a jury store. Uh, I, I jumped over the counter and grabbed a jury. Pretty much what the young people doing nowadays, just snatch and grab.
Hmm.
And I got caught for that. I ended up doing 3 years for that. Then I came home and I stayed out about 8, 9 months. And I ended up stealing money from banks, and I ended up going to the feds. And that's when I had my epiphany. I had an awakening. I was like, man, this ain't for me.
Right.
Because
The life of crime or bank robbing?
jail, period.
Okay, Jay.
You know what I'm saying? Because they put you in there with white people, man.
Uh-huh.
These little white dudes, they're 18, 19-year-old.
Yeah.
They talk to you like you're a punk. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Dudes that you beat up on the streets,
Right.
but they got so much power, and they talk to you and they try to provoke you. Very antagonistic. You know what I'm saying? So that was something that kind of guide my, freedom post. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to get caught back up in that, man. I didn't want to go back up in that. So I got into the game,
Mhm.
and that was the pimping. I was already had little brushes up, but when I got into the pimping, it was not. It was a misdemeanor. It wasn't as hyperbolic as it is now as far as
Right.
human trafficking. It was like you get a snap on the wrist for it back in the day. So it was less chances, and it was considered the elite game.
Mhm.
If you rob somebody, you might go buy some cocaine to feed your nose from a drug dealer. The drug dealer might take the money and go throw it on the stripper. The stripper go and give it to a pimp. The pimp
Mhm.
go and get robbed. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
one
Cycle.
game pay another game.
Right.
So you got to pick what part of the game because it's a cycle. So I said,
Mhm.
man, the most elite of all those games was the pimping. So I said in the pimp game, it's called ing, which is an action verb. I'm not going, send the check, So that's why I wanted the ing. And then pimp, pimp was a noun, So I put the noun and the verb together and I started pimping.
Gotcha. Gotcha. And so when it comes to, because I'm going off a little bit, because I want to have a really good conversation with you, and a lot of people don't have a clue, especially the younger generation, about um, the integrity that comes with the pimping game.
Oh, most definitely. It's rules and regulations. That's why you
Right.
rarely hear pimps shooting and killing each other like in
Mm-hmm.
other games, in the dope
Mm-hmm.
game and in the robbery game, because it's a certain rules you can't get mad if you lose your bra. If
Right.
you lose your woman, it's called cop and blow.
Mm-hmm.
The loser got to watch it go. It's a non-contact sport. You're supposed to be a gentleman if you get knocked. The women, they got integrity. They don't look at other guys. They don't try to, disrespect the other
Mm-hmm.
people that's in the lifestyle. They got to have respect for their man. It's more like Saddam Hussein, dictator in little country,
Mm-hmm.
Iraq, because the women respect the level of wisdom that he presents to her as opposed to a square. A square, you can see a dude 6'8", weigh 300 pounds. And he said, man, let's go to a Detroit Lions game. Man, my woman tripping, I can't go. But you get him in the club, that man will throw five dudes all the way across the thing, but this woman is 5'3", telling him he can't go nowhere.
Right.
You know. So, but with the game, take a dude, he could be 5'3", she could be 6 foot tall. And if he snap his fingers, she gonna do everything he tell her to
Mm-hmm.
do.
That comes with education, knowledge
Now,
base,
what
giving
what what
direction. What
it's
does that
called
really stem from?
instructions. It's called
Okay.
instructions. So when I was in the game, my main thing was to get in a woman's head.
Gotcha.
But if you get the head, the body follow.
Right.
You know, uh, my man Goldie always said, if you show me what you caught, I'll show you where you was fishing at. I'll also show you what bait you use.
Mm-hmm.
Because, if you dealing with a drummer queen, that's what you gonna catch.
Right.
If you around, women that know the game, that's what you're gonna catch. So, you got to hang around people that is receptive. Like you take a woman that works at McDonald's, you call her a hoe, she have a fit, she ready to go to jail. She gonna kick tables over. He just called me a hoe. I mean, but if you call a hoe, she gonna be like, yes, daddy.
Right.
She can accept that because that's the pool, that's the pond she's swimming in.
Right.
You know, that's what you caught. You know what I mean? So you probably use some game. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, and one of the games that Pete try to exercise, their most strongest point is protecting their little head. They don't let their little head beat their big head. You know, I mean, they take the coochie off the pedestal.
Right.
You know, when you take the coochie off the pedestal, how much value do a woman really encompass? You know, because most women, when they get with you, you know what I'm saying, even in a square relationship, she get on put on negligee, she get to talking sweet, she fix her hair, put her makeup on. You have sex with her, the next day she said, baby, I get $100 to go shopping. You know, or, you know, if she wanna go to the movies, you take her to the movies, she pay you with coochie. You know what I'm saying? I mean, everything you do for her, she pay you with coochie, but when she can't pay you with coochie, then what she have?
Right.
What is her value?
What's the
You
what
know what
she
I'm saying?
bringing to the
So
table?
that's one of the things that the isms understand the pimp. We call it the pimp, the ism of 16s. So instead of calling them pimps, just know when I say 16, your artist can follow me and mean pimp. So the 16s, that's what they do. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
They make sure that they control her from a mental perspective.
Mhm.
You know, another thing is he asks for the money. Most dudes don't have the stamina to ask for money because they're used to giving money.
Mhm.
It's like a it's like a backwards movement, you know what I'm saying? For
Right.
them to give somebody some money. They used to taking some money, they used to giving money. They don't even understand it. Most dudes, man, I don't understand how you get money from a woman. You know, but a woman that give a guy money, she understand it. You know, then every now and then, you got to talk slick or you got to dress slick. You know, you want to have the fancy cars, the
Mhm.
nice jewelry.
Mhm.
You want to be able to, manipulate at some point. Because you still have to talk the chicken off the wagon. You know what I
Right.
mean? It ain't
Right.
just like you just pull it up and everything happen.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, everybody be
Everybody
pimping.
be pimping. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or 16 in the situation. So, what's the difference between uh, gorilla pimps,
And,
folks that out there that really know how to finesse the situation?
regular ones.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, because like if me and you was talking, right?
Hmm.
And me and you was chopping up game. Then all of a sudden, I say something that you don't understand or you can't reply back to.
Right.
You put your hands up, you start swinging on me,
Ready to
and we get
fight.
into a fight.
Hmm.
Well, if you get a woman and you got her on game, when you put your dukes up, that means you ran out of game.
Right.
And then you turn into a gorilla, Magilla gorilla. So Magilla gorilla is a dude that ain't got no game. He ran out of game or he didn't have no game from the
From
jump.
the jump.
Sometimes, you see dudes out here riding in a Cadillac, they got a long perm, their fingernails long.
Mhm.
You say, oh, dude's a pimp. No, he peep game. So when the pimp leave the scene, he still think he the pimp, but that's all he got is the look. He got the imitation. He mimicking somebody else, so he don't really have no game. So you know what I mean? When he try to tell a woman to do something and he don't know the mechanics of game, he don't know how game operate,
Yeah.
she gonna say, oh boy, please,
Yeah. Yeah.
don't disrespect me. Ran out of game.
Let's switch gears right quick because we just came off an election cycle.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Um, and Vice President Kamala Harris was running for president.
Mm-hmm.
And she took a non-traditional route, in my opinion,
Mm-hmm.
in the campaign with an attempt to excite the hip hop base with
Right.
Meg the Stallion twerking, Sexy Red making bold statements as it relates to her body and control of her body.
Mm-hmm.
In your eyes, um, was any of this appropriate? And what should have been done from the Democratic standpoint to approach this election and to possibly win this election? What could they have done differently?
Well, first of all, optics is everything.
True.
Politics is optics.
Yes.
You know, Donald Trump was a little graphic too. He was a little
Oh, outrageous.
outlandish as well. So,
Oh,
but
outrageous. First four that he had
yeah,
up
I
to
mean, to
up to
calling her
present.
ignorant, which in the
Right.
Bible, ignorant mean black.
Mm-hmm.
Nigga, that's what it mean. Ignorant. They
Mm-hmm.
say a nigga, somebody that's ignorant. Call her ignorant, but I don't want to put the referendum on Trump.
Right.
Basically, when you playing chess. I don't know if your audience ever read my book, The Art of Human Chess, but I talked about Donald Trump being a chess player.
Mm-hmm.
I talked about how he bought Grand Central Station and turned it into the Trump Tower.
Mm-hmm.
I talked about how he was able to get the government to give him a 100-year rebate where he didn't have to pay taxes but $1 for 100 years,
Mm-hmm.
and some of the other strategic measures and deals that he did. Trump was playing checkers, chess. He was
Chess.
playing
Mm-hmm.
checkers. Even though Trump was outlandish and he may have been a little boisterous, it was a chess move because he was doing what I call barroom talk. So barroom talk is what Europeans in rural America do every day.
Yeah.
They talk about us and they use different code languages, and they just very racist, right?
Right.
He understands how to tap into those people because
Mm-hmm.
the only thing that they have when it comes to Trump that is relevant is their white skin. So white power is something that is generally fostered from the one percenters.
Mm-hmm.
They make white people think that they're powerful because that gives them a pass and they give them privilege, right? So Trump understood this. But what Kamala Harris didn't do, she didn't study Barack Obama. Barack Obama never became the angry black man because he understood that that would impede his election, his chance of winning. Barack Obama went to Iowa. He stayed down there for 7 months while everybody else was campaigning around the world.
Mm-hmm.
And he won Iowa. He
Right.
became uh, a candidate. He became a formidable competitor because the way it happens generally in the Democratic Party and in the Republican Party, the presumptive nominee, they win Iowa, New Hampshire, then it goes on to the primary.
Right.
But what happened with Barack Barack was able to disrupt that process, and he was a constitutional lawyer. He knew that once he won uh, Iowa and she won New Hampshire, then the rest of the 48 states was in play. And he was younger than her. He had more stamina than her. So he was playing chess.
Right.
But what Kamala did was she was just throwing darts at the wall.
Yeah.
She should have never had Megan Thee Stallion. She should have never had Sexy Red. And all the people that was endorsing her is cool, but to have them perform,
Right.
knowing that the Republican Party is as ruthless as his, knew they was going to use that as clickbait. I think that was a bad decision on her part.
Mm-hmm.
But she ran a good campaign, you
Mm-hmm.
know, initially.
Right.
But I always thought it was a ploy. I thought that Biden was never going to run, but I thought they were just trying to skip her through the primary process
Mm-hmm.
and make her, the the candidate, instantly. But that was, a good strategic move. Her getting 100 women, all the women and all the men and all those gay people, that was strategic, you know. But as she got further in, her not speaking to the media was strategic. And she waited a while, that was called too much circulation make the stock go down. So she was building anticipation for them to swarm her and get a lot of media attention. But at the end, like I said, she had too many surrogates. She had too many people that was famous. So it took a lot of emphasis off of her.
Well,
You know,
even if you did have it, and um, think about the base that she was going after. Most of those kids aren't registered to vote. We're talking about a younger generation that have issues with policy already. They're not registered to vote. So you're pandering to a group of individuals that's not going to vote for you anyway. They can jump up and down and hoop and holler, but that doesn't mean that they're going into the polls and casting a vote.
right.
So how could they not have realized that in that whole situation? You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you have folks that are in your camp that are supposed to be strategists and putting you in a good position to actually win a campaign, and she had all of the right ammunition. She had the war chest to do it. Biden transferred the money over, so she was good to go, locked and stocked, ready to go.
Well, let me tell you something that everything she did could have worked.
Yes.
But you know what they did mainly more so than those minute miscalculations was
Hmm.
they miscalculated the entire sphere, the entire world.
Right.
They didn't know that Donald Trump had tapped into the same people
Hmm.
that Eminem tapped into. Eminem sold 30 million records. Tupac sold 10. Nelly sold 10. 50
Right.
sold 10. He sold 30 million records because he went and reached out to that trailer park, that trash, that what they call white trash.
Hmm.
And that's what Donald Trump did too. So they didn't even count those votes.
Right.
They was just counting the registered Republicans. They didn't count the unseen votes. And another thing, she didn't count all the sisters out there that are haters.
Right.
Black women's are haters. I mean, black women, I mean, they hate each other. I mean, I got four sisters. I see how they backbite it, they talk about it back. And then black men, most of them are in matriarchal relationships.
Hmm.
They're in a relationship with a woman control. There's no way they're going to vote for a black woman when they already have a black woman they can't stand. They got a black woman that tell them what to do, a black woman that tell them get out the way and tuck the steering wheel because you don't know where you're going. You're about to crash anyway. Let me take the wheel. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's the type of relationship that they in. So the black man, voted overwhelmingly for
Trump.
Trump.
Hmm.
A portion of the black woman didn't vote at all because fuck that F. That's what they say.
That's
F
right.
that B.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then another demographics that she totally, disregarded was the fact that yes, Roe versus Wade is a problem. Yes, it's a lot of
Correct.
people that believe in pro-life. It's a lot of people that believe in pro-choice.
Right.
But what she didn't understand is that the reason why what they call it, evangelicals, what
The
they call it,
evangelicals. Yeah.
the evangelicals voted for Trump
Hmm.
was because he believed in same-sex marriage, and that's one of their beliefs. That's
Hmm.
what, and then so most of them believe in pro-life.
Pro life.
Then the Hispanics, all you gotta do is walk to any mall, you're gonna see the Virgin Mary on their neck.
Right.
They Catholicism.
That's right.
They believe in Catholic. They Catholic, so they voted for pro-life as well,
Correct.
and pro same-sex marriages. So and if you can look at the numbers, her Hispanic numbers dwindle. You
Okay.
know what I'm saying? Her religious numbers dwindle. Okay, he said, well, what happened? Well, it wasn't no Supreme Court in play before. It wasn't they didn't overturn this situation. We
Right.
just traditionally, just psychologically voted for Democrats.
True.
Now they have an issue on the table that resonate with my belief system.
Mm.
I believe in same-sex marriage. I believe in pro whatever you call it, pro-life.
Mm.
So if they believe in pro-life and same-sex marriage, there's no way that you're going to be able to extrapolate that vote. So, and if you look at the polls and you look at the data, it'll show you where it happened. It show you that Donald Trump got most of rural America that they never anticipated. That's why they was always running neck to neck even.
Mm.
That Kamala Harris, she didn't imagine that black women were so weird, and haters, and that black men, don't want a black woman. And then and another thing, a lot of black men, they don't say it. They say they're gonna vote for her, but they don't say they didn't like the fact that she was married to a white
White
man.
man. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Donald, white people didn't like the fact that
She's married
white
to.
women didn't like.
Mm.
They voted for Barack Obama because that was okay. You get a black man, a black woman, and she didn't calculate that because white people is crazy. They would think like only reason why she married this white man is because she wanted to become president, and she know that this would make people feel like she like white people. People think like that. She
Right.
ain't calculating that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And you didn't win the presidency, the vice presidency. You was selected.
Easily. Yeah.
I'm saying.
So in the heat of all of this, I saw um, Harrio with his Community First organization.
Hmm.
I want to say it's Community First, and he formed that alliance with Trump.
Hmm.
And so now, what do you expect to see coming out of that Community First situation with Harrio and that connection with Trump? And do you think it's actually going to pay dividends? Because Harry's one that's definitely going to hold someone accountable. If in fact we say, hey, we got a deal on the table, And let's move forward. What do you say
Well,
to that?
Trump is an incurable narcissist.
True.
So that being said, if you pander to Trump in
Hmm.
any capacity, you immediately can almost say it's in the box.
Gotcha.
It's in the pan, you know, and
Hmm.
you see what happens when you don't pander with him. He didn't overhaul the entire justice system,
Right.
and they already talk about going after the people that went after
That
him.
went
You
after
know,
him. Yeah.
he's a narcissist. He's vindictive.
Hmm.
I mean, all of us as narcissists. To say you're not a narcissist mean that you're a narcissist, but he's an incurable narcissist, meaning that you know it is what it is with him. You know, what I mean, he's gonna do what he got to do,
Hmm.
and everybody that's smart that got initiatives and programs they need to be pandering towards Trump. They need to be making him feel that they down with him. You know, I even told my organization leaders, you know, because we had a situation over there with Kamala Harris with to stop the gun violence. I
Okay.
said they asked me, do it would it make a difference if we work with Trump? Hey man, I'm like Don King. We working with the champion.
That's right.
You know, as long as he went, because I mean we was with Republicans doing Lincoln. You
Yes.
know, we was Republican then. We was the Democrats hated us. We joined the Democrats in the early '60s. You know, no matter who we with, we catch hell. You know, it's like choosing Satan and Lucifer. You know, both of them really don't have the black man interest at hand. But I could say, you know, from personal experience of just watching, I ain't seen no president in my 60 years on this planet that pardoned three hardcore criminals like Harry O, uh, Kodak Black, and
Right.
Lil Wayne, and there's a whole bunch of more that I don't even know
Yeah.
their names.
My partner Terry Allred out
Yeah.
of North Carolina got pardoned.
See what I'm
He
saying?
actually had his petition going into to Obama and it was denied.
Yeah.
And he got pardoned by Trump. And he told me straight up, that's why I voted for Trump.
But I mean, imagine what he gonna do now. He might let everybody out of prison. He
Right.
he he mad at them. You know what I mean?
That's right.
They let this man outfox him in. They
Hmm.
let him in. You know, Trump gonna do it. He probably do more for black people than black people can imagine because you know he always say, "What do y'all have to lose anyway?" He's saying that for a reason because Trump is in those rooms and he hear all that racist rhetoric. You know,
That's
he
right.
know what's really going on.
That's
You
right.
know, but he do have the power to help who he want to help.
Through executive
You know what I'm
order.
saying?
That's
And
right.
through executive order.
Hmm.
So, and I think that a lot of people, you know, is gonna be, you know, getting out. I think a lot of people gonna get out. I think he might even help Puffy. I mean, you
Okay.
know, I don't know why I feel this, but I just feel some kind of way. And you see the mayor of New York been kind of like, you know, curry favor with him,
Good.
you know, because he like, man, you know, Trump might pardon him as well.
Good.
You know, so I
Good.
think, you know, to some extent, you know, in my book I wrote about Trump. Ain't that crazy? I wrote about him before he ever ran for president. And I told people, you know, in my book that, you know, he was a human chess player. You know,
Hmm.
he played chess.
Right.
You know, he's a very intelligent man. And
Hmm.
and I talk about the art of deal. You know, this is in my book, you know, The Art of Human Chess. I wrote about Trump. And people be impressed to read it and say, wow, you know, he ain't predicted this, you know,
Okay.
and because I just know I know game. You know, I was
Right.
born in the game. I've been in the game. My daddy was a player. I grew up around hustlers. I could see the game a mile away. You know, I could see who's who and what's what and who making certain type of moves and you know how that's gonna turn out for this guy, how it's not gonna turn out. You know, because I just been around and I've seen it so many times. I've seen so many levels of it.
Yeah.
You know, I knew that Trump. You know, he was a mastermind. You know, he outfox him. You know what I mean? 'Cause think about it. He's a multi-billionaire. You hear what I'm saying? He's a multi-billionaire. All the poor white trash in this country love him.
Hmm.
Ain't got a penny.
Yeah.
Live in Section 8 homes
Mhm.
on welfare
Right.
and believe that he one of them.
Yeah.
A man that ride around with a jet with his name on it is one of them. A
Right.
man that live in
But
houses that man,
they
uh,
living vicariously through him.
yeah, well, that and they commonality is white skin.
His white skin. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Me,
Yeah.
and that's why I had a situation where I told this guy, he said, man, I want to get the job. I said, okay, well, if you want to get a job and you apply for the job and you put a white man there, you say your name, Jerry Glenberg, and you say, I only got an eighth grade education. I'm not that smart. Uh, I, I'm willing to learn. They're gonna hire you just because of that name.
Mhm.
You say your name, Tom Smith. I graduated from Harvard with great honors, and I'm this and I'm that, da 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 da. You got all these more degrees than the thermometer. Just from that name, they're like, we can go. This nigga too smart. We don't want him.
Right.
So that's just how racism is. You know what I'm saying? Racism is this: white folks is the right hand, black folks is the left hand. Everything in our society is from your gearbox to everything is designed for your right hand. The left hand get left out all the time. The same thing with the black man.
Okay.
The black man, you know, if he was playing for the Detroit Pistons, or the Detroit Lions, and we was playing football, and he was the visiting team, they'd start him in the end zone.
Right.
Black man started, so he got 100 yards to go. But the Detroit Pistons, if they were white men, they'd start on the 20-yard line.
Mm.
That's how you got to look at it. They got an 80-yard advantage. They got 250-year advantage. We
Right.
were enslaved for 250 years. So they got a 250-year advantage of wealth and of success and of, free will,
Right.
the Constitution. We only got 1865 to now. They got 1665. So they got a decisive advantage. They bought all the property. They aired it down. So this is the disconnect. But, when you talk about, go back to the Trump situation, we talk about Trump and racism and all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he basically, I believe he the type of dude, man, that's gonna go with what works for him.
Right. So we're talking about the advantages of white America. We know the history of white America as it relates to what went on back in the day, and we know the pitfalls and the traps. So this is a perfect segue for me to ask you these two questions that I'm about
Right.
to ask you.
Mm-hmm.
Young Thug,
Mm-hmm.
15 years probation. Can he really walk that down without any type of violations on probation?
If he want to,
And was it a good decision for him to make that move
if he
and take
want
that deal?
to, if he want to, he could. But that means that he would have to go to his shows and get his money and stay out the way.
And stay out the way.
Because we all on probation.
Right.
We all in jail. Try to go to Africa in the morning and see what happens.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But you gotta go through customs. You can't
That's
even get
right.
out this country
That's right.
without, you know, going through some people. You know what I'm saying? So we all under supervision. So I mean, supervision. If he drive down the street, they're gonna run his tags.
Right.
They're gonna do stop and frisk. So you're already under scrutiny. That ain't the problem.
Mm.
Being under 15 years of scrutiny ain't the problem.
Okay.
The problem is, can he change his mentality? If he change his mentality, he can change reality. If he changes attitude, he can change his aptitude.
Okay.
Your frequency is what you frequently see.
Right.
Your frequency is what you frequently see.
Yeah.
If you want to be a millionaire, you got to hang around millionaires.
Right.
If you want to be a bum, you hang around bum. Hang around somebody that eat cake all day. See what happens to you.
Yeah. You gonna
You're
get
gonna get
fat.
overweight.
Yeah.
Hang around people that's in the gym, you're gonna be healthy. So
But he was around. But he was around millionaires. He was hanging with
nah,
millionaires.
but
He
it's
was
part
doing.
all the people that got indicted was no millionaires. They was
Yeah.
criminals.
Them
They was
bangers.
they was
They was slanging the
they was
bangers.
his
I get
blood
it.
brothers, his slime brothers. So my thing with that is that if he hang around them dudes again,
Yeah.
the same
The
result.
same
That's
result.
what I'm saying. I'm just
Right.
saying. But if he hang around people like myself and yourself who progressive and trying to figure out how to create generational wealth, how
Hmm.
to invest and save,
Right.
then he gonna become a businessman. If he become a businessman, he gonna get up probably around about 7, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning. He gonna get on the phone. He gonna make some phone calls. He gonna go look at some real estate.
Yeah.
He gonna look at the stock market. He
Right.
gonna have a different perspective. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
But if he get out there and he get up and he go smoke a blunt, then he go to the liquor store get some liquor,
Yeah.
then he go stop in Magic City get some freaks.
Right.
Eventually he gonna get caught slipping. He gonna drink too much. One of his partners gonna get in the car with him. He gonna have a pistol in the car. They gonna get him for ex-felon in possession of firearm. Or the dude gonna throw the weed or the dope up under the seat, and he ain't gonna figure what happened. Or he gonna mess with one of them girls, and because he young thug, you know what I'm saying? He gonna get them all caught up. They're gonna be caught up. They're gonna fall in love. And they're gonna want to be with him. And he gonna be, playing games. They're gonna call his probation officer and lie on him and say he hit me.
Right. It's gonna be
So
some kind of
yeah,
shit.
yeah, yeah. You
Yeah.
got it. So yeah. And should he took the deal? I think, consider the circumstances, he should have, because I think if he hadn't he wouldn't have took the deal. He probably would have beat it in the appeal at the appellate court level
Right.
because there was so many errors in the court.
That's right.
You know, it was a lot of errors, a lot of plain errors. You
That's
know,
right.
and then they got in the Supreme,
Egregious errors.
yeah, egregious. And then they got Rule 32 in the
Uh-huh.
Supreme Court, which
Yeah.
uh, that's a plain error too. So you know he would have got out on that because the court has a duty to uphold the law. You
Yeah.
know, and they supposed to check the lower court. The
Mhm.
appellate court supposed to check the lower court.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's their job. The Supreme Court checks the appellate court. You know, and that's the system. You know,
Okay.
sometimes they send it back, sometimes they rule, but they very change a ruling on a sitting judge. You
Right.
know,
That's
or a
right.
lower court. So understanding that, you know what I'm saying? I mean, his hill will all his climb will always be a steep hill. But, you know, if he had the stamina, but see they did him so raw, they did all of them raw. They made him sit for so long that accepting a bad deal became freedom to them. You see what I'm saying?
I do.
It's almost like some pimping. It was like they pimped on him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They put him in such a bad situation.
Ain't no
And
choice but to want to
and,
get him
and
out this
then, you
one.
know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, the lawyer fees was probably mounting up. You know what I'm
Correct.
saying? I mean, he probably got money from Future and Drake. Everybody was throwing him a little something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Baby probably throwing him a little money, and that money was eating up fast. And the lawyer was like, you know, probably like, because the lawyer would have ran it for another
Until
year or
yeah,
two, but the
ran him
lawyer
dry.
probably said,
Yeah.
this dude is, you know, he ain't moving fast as he was. He ain't talking that I got plenty of money, you know, no more, and all that stuff you talk about when you first get locked up.
Right.
You know, so the lawyer was like, man, this ain't working. But, you know, considering he had a lot of snitches and considering all the evidence that they had, I think that, you know, he did the best thing he could do. Now, if it was just me and it was me against the court and there was no witness, they would have to take me to the all the way to
We're
the
going to
chief.
trial.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're going to trial.
yeah, because but he had so many snitches, you know. But thank God he had some of the dumbest snitches on the planet. Everybody he had was perfect snitches, you know, ones
Mhm.
that just went on point.
Mhm.
You know, they didn't really do the prosecutor no justice.
Right. But man, back in the day, man, stool pigeons were a part of, you know, the old mafioso type shit. You know what I'm saying? Somebody gonna take the fall.
Hmm.
And the family was taken care of and all this other kind of good stuff.
Hmm.
It was a reason why the stool pigeon took the fall.
Hmm.
So that, you know, the capo, the big man, whoever the case may be, can keep on running and doing what they got to do.
Hmm.
Seems like these days, ain't nobody ready to do nothing like that. Everybody ready to just goddamn save themselves and
You know why? Because 80% of the households today, brother, is ran by single parents, by females.
okay,
So a lot of these dudes, man, they have feminine tendency.
right.
You know, the lion is the king of the jungle for a reason. You know why?
Talk
Because
to me.
when he roars, scare the
Okay,
shit out of elephants and giraffes.
right.
It's scary thing in the jungle. The man is the head of the household. You know why? Because of his Adam apple.
Yeah.
When you told your boys to sit down, the ones you sent to college, they sit down, they did what you said, right?
Yes.
If your wife told them, you know, they'll be a little hesitant.
Mhm.
She always got something to tell your daddy on y'all. Because a female does not have an Adam apple, nor does she have the the masculinity that it takes to make a man. See, you know, these women be like, I don't need no man. F a man.
Right.
And black women are the only ones that say that. But then you ask yourself the pivotal question: who raising all the killers? If it's 80% single household, who raising the killers? Who raising the drug dealers?
Right.
All these boys walk around with switches.
Right. But
Before 1970, y'all joined the white women's liberation movement, and y'all allowed these crackers to fool y'all, to make y'all believe and think that y'all don't need a man because of affirmative action. You know what I'm saying? Before all that, it was order in the court. It was order in the house.
mhm.
Now y'all done try to take this mantle or take this responsibility on by yourself, and look what y'all have done. You've created so many killers because them boys don't have no discipline. You can't tell a child how tall is your son?
um, 1 6'10", the other one 6'11",
6'10" and 6'11". How tall is your wife?
6'1".
6'1"?
Mhm.
Okay, she's pretty tall. But still, you know, the average mother though, right? You talk about
5'4",
at
6, yeah,
5'4", 5'6",
yeah,
she can't beat up on those 6'10" a grown man. Even though he's 16, he's still grown. He's 16. So now that child has his own mindset. He don't have the mindset of his father. A lot of times, when you see people acting a certain way, they have characteristics of their parents.
Right.
you know, the father and the mother. If you see a young man switching and swatching and acting feminine, you know what I'm saying? Because he sit up in the house all day, he watches mama put on makeup and she put on eyelashes and she put on weed and she's in the mirror and she dancing, looking cute, looking at her butt and stuff like that. And that's what he's looking at.
That's what he sees.
Your frequency is what you frequently see.
Right.
So you know what I'm saying? It's no wonder that we see a lot of homosexuality today prior to our day. When we
Correct.
was kids, it wasn't like this.
True.
You know what I'm saying? But the reason why is because a lot of our young men are growing up in feminine households. They take on feminine characteristics. What that does, especially if you look at the Catholic Church ratio, it attracts a lot of pedophiles. And a pedophile is slick. He
Mhm.
offer them some candy and so on and so forth. And if a man first ejaculations in the mouth of a man, if he ejaculate a man and it feel good, because you can't ejaculate unless it feel good. And once you do that, that's your first experiences with a man. You gonna tell yourself, I've been like this all my life. You know what I'm saying? But when you see your father and he's shaving, you know what I'm saying? He comb his hair, put his suit on, he said, man, I'm sharp. When you go in the bathroom, you go in his closet, you put his shoes on, you put his coat on, and you get your razor and you mimic your father. When your mama leave, you go put on her heels, you put on her dress, and you mimicking your mama. The only thing gonna save you if you join a gang or if you get around some roughnecks and they show you, man, no, man, this how it go.
This is
You
what
got
it
to need a
is.
strap. And then you
Right.
see so many young men becoming gang members. You see so many young men becoming murderers. Because you've been out there. If you don't kill, if you don't shoot, you's a punk. Dude, get away from us. You a sucker. You a pussy ass nigga. That's worse than joining the game. Now you're being belittled, so you have to prove yourself to the game. So you gotta go kill another man to prove yourself that you're a man.
Then coming out of that type of a situation, you being in a single parent home, 80% with their mothers, then you're dealing with young men that are acting on emotion
That's what I'm saying. You
as
got
opposed to some kind of intellectual
you went to
standing.
college, right?
I did. Yeah,
So you know what IQ is, right?
I do.
So you got IQ, intellectual quotient. You
Right.
got EQ, emotional quotient. You got AQ, adaptability quotient.
Right.
So a lot of people have a high IQ, but you must have a high EQ too, because the EQ allows you to get out of situations that can cause you to allow your emotions to supersede your intelligence.
Mm.
So your emotions checks itself when you're intelligent on both levels, because your emotions will say, if I hit this person in the mouth or I shoot this person, I'm going to jail. You know what I'm saying? I can't be impulsive. You know what I'm saying? You got a high emotional quotient, you got control over your emotions. And then your adaptability quotient, it allows you to adapt to situations
Hmm.
that are foreign to you
Right.
and that are strange. Like give you an example. If you're in a grocery store and somebody call you a nigga,
In Mississippi, we slapping the shit out that motherfucker.
yeah, see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's your impulsive, your emotional quotient is not high at that time.
Well, it's high because I'm gonna just say it for Mississippi. Us here in Mississippi, we've always taken the brunt of being the systemic racist place. So we're at a point these days where we ain't even going for that shit.
Now we ain't going for it neither, but
Yeah.
the first thing I say to myself,
Hmm.
here's a white lady. She's 5'4".
Hmm.
She's 64 years old. She just called me a nigga.
Right.
That's the devil.
True. I understand.
See what I the way I adapt to this, I said that's the
Hmm.
devil. So if I hit her,
Hmm.
even though she called me a nigga, the
Okay.
camera just gonna show me hitting her.
That's true.
So you understand me? I got to adapt real quick. So you know what I'm saying? To give you a better example, you know what I'm saying? If somebody do something to you in the streets, you know what I'm saying? And you know how the streets go, and you
Hmm.
say, well, hey, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go kill this dude. You got to adapt real quick. You got to you got to check your emotions real quick. You got to use your intelligence got to kick in because you also got to weigh the consequences of your actions.
Right.
You
That's
understand
true.
me? So that's how I look at it. So I look at the different levels of thinking. When you talk about different situations, do you have the ability to allow yourself to not get so emotional? You know what I'm saying? And your father usually teaches you that. Do you have the ability to adapt to any situation?
Correct. Okay.
Most young men, all they got is low emotional quotient.
Okay.
And low emotional quotient impedes intelligence because whenever you allow your emotions to supersede your intelligence, you're always going to be impulsive. It's always going to turn out bad. And when you don't allow your IQ to control your AQ and you can't adapt to crazy situations, you're going to respond impulsively and emotionally. So, you know what I'm saying? I think that a lot of young men, if they had their father there, they can learn discipline. I grew up with my father. I got stitching cord whips, man. I looked like a Kuta Kinte movie back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
I had so many whips on my back from getting beat with stitching cords.
Right.
But it also disciplined me. And, my mother was a Christian and she would always preach God and all this stuff to us. And even though we didn't listen to most of that, you know what I'm saying? I mean, even to this day, I find myself honoring my mother, honoring some of the principles that she taught me. And that's why people say, Ken, you're so humble and you so laid back. I got that from my father.
Right.
My father was vicious, but he was a laid back man. He was
Gotcha.
born in Mississippi,
Mm-hmm.
Oxford, Mississippi. That's where we from
Okay.
originally.
Okay.
So,
That's right up the street. That's
yeah,
right up the street from.
yeah. So, he taught me a lot of my granddaddy was a man of principles. So I learned a lot of principles from my father, even though even when I was in jail, some of my friends was ruthless. They would knock the guards out and I still respected people to a certain level because I was taught to be malleable. So that's some of the significance of and I'm scared to kill somebody. If I have to, I will. If somebody try to kill me, I will. But
Right.
I'm scared to kill him because my mom always told me I was going to hell.
Gotcha.
God God has been taking out the situation. So these young people today, they ain't got no father, they ain't got no God. TD Jakes, he going through his thing.
Right.
All these other pastors going through their thing. So these young people, they see this online and they like, man, that's why I don't go to church. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So you take I don't go to church out of the situation, then you got a wild fool with no principles, no moral compass. Then you take the father out, you ain't got nobody to discipline them, and you get your murders, your killers, and you get all the mayhem and murder that you see in our society today. And only way it's gonna ever help that is that they're gonna have to let the OGs out.
Right.
They're gonna have to let the dudes that they fathers and stuff like that out because the mothers would never be able to ameliorate the conditions of their children because the longer you have single parenting, the longer there's not a father, the situation is
It'll
gonna
continue to get
perpetuate.
worse.
Yeah, it's
That's
gonna
right.
perpetuate.
Okay.
And think about it. They started sending brothers to prison in '85 with the new crack laws and the new gun laws. Ever since '85
And Joe
to
Biden was a part of that.
yeah, Joe Biden and
Kamala
Hillary
Harris
and
was a
Bill
part of
Clinton.
that too.
Yep, yep, all of
Okay.
them. And you take that into consideration, and here it is 2025, and the situation has increased.
It's got worse.
Yeah, because you took the father out the household.
Mm. Okay. So, since we talking about this, we're looking at Lil Durk facing murder for hire charges.
Hmm.
So explain to me what is so compelling to young millionaires to remain active in the streets when the sole purpose is to elevate out of a bad situation.
Well, bro, it's a lot of things that transpire with these young kids that didn't transpire with us. When we were young, we played with Pac-Man.
Okay.
When they were young, they played with Grand Theft Auto. And it's another one, but I use Grand Theft Auto as an example. And a lot of times when you play Grand Theft Auto, your score is based on how much you can kill and how many red lights you can run, how ruthless you can be. And for a 5-year-old child, this being implanted in their head, it desensitized them.
Okay.
Okay. So you see a lot of young people, coupled with the fact that there's no father in the house, coupled with the fact that uh, 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 the mothers is not able to give them masculinity, and you take uh, the internet,
Yeah.
and you see how every time somebody do something, they put it on the net.
Right.
They box on the net, they argue on the net, and you got to remember, King Von got killed because of an internet beef he had with Quando Rondo. That's how the man got killed. When I see you, I'm gonna ride on you. He beats the man up, the man shoots him, right?
Yeah.
People get on the internet and say slide for Vaughn. Hey man, you got to live your life on like you're on trial. There's two things that can hurt you: an eyewitness and a camera. The eyewitness, the lawyer you can dance around, but the camera, hey man, that's the eyewitness that you don't want to, you don't want to, or anything electronic. You said you into IT,
Yeah.
AI, you into tech.
That's
So
right.
as a tech, a
It's
guy that
everywhere.
grew up on a computer, that stuff never disappears.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So
That
when you
eye in
say,
the sky, basically.
yeah, yeah. So every time somebody gets shot, when Dolph got shot, first thing you know, the internet served the murder. They solved the murder. When Vaughn, got caught up. I mean, when Dirk got caught up, they started solving the murder. They was talking about some guy told them. They do the detective work. So a lot of these detectives, they can just sit back and
Sit
watch
back
the
and wait.
internet.
Right.
So I think that that's one of the problems. They grew up on the computers. They grew up on these violent gangs. They grew up, without fathers, and their father just got out of jail. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so that can be very, very impactful on young people. And I told my son the other day, I said, man, get off the internet. Don't be on the internet, man. You don't, Dad, everybody do it. Just because everybody don't do it, don't make it right.
Correct.
Man, if you beef with somebody on the internet, they get shot, you're going to jail. Or you're going to get interrogated. And if you're not savvy with interrogation and you get the lying and you let the people interrogate you, you know what I'm saying? They gonna get the evidence that they need up out of you. Because that's what they do. You know what I'm saying? I mean, while you out here hustling and robbing and killing, they in there taking lessons and courses on how to interrogate. So, and then once he leave, you understand me, his 8 hours over with, then another 8 hour shift come, then another so they working 24 hours. You sleeping, they waking you up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, you know what I'm saying? Me telling you all the stuff that you didn't did just on guesswork
Mm-hmm.
and detective work, and you sitting up there like, man, how they know all this?
Right.
And most young people say, well, man, I ain't going to jail by myself. Ken was with me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And once you say that, now you can't recant your statement.
Correct.
Everything you say will be used against you in the court of law.
Mm-hmm.
So King Von, Dirk, all these guys, just like the guys that killed my man Dolph. You know what I'm saying? When you look at the internet detectives, they showed the white Benz. The white Benz was at the murder scene. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And they caught up. They said Dirk booked some some flights. The same people on the flights was in LA doing the killing. you know. And then one of the guys that he looked out for, they alleged, I don't know how true it was alleged that he gave him 50,000, he still crossed it. So, it's just, man, the young people got to get off the internet, man. You cannot live your life like you're on trial. What do I mean by that? I'm not gonna carry no guns. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna do nothing with nobody. Anything that a prosecutor can use to me in the court,
Right.
I'm not gonna do it because I'm living my life like I'm on trial. I'm not
Correct.
gonna text message no incriminating things. I'm not gonna give the prosecutor nothing to indict me on. You know what I'm saying? If I do something, he gonna have to be damn near a god to see it, because only me and God gonna know about it.
Well, speaking on that, then, and speaking, about a fall from grace, it's reported that Diddy has been denied bail once again.
Oh
Uh,
man,
you
that's
know,
crazy.
so in your opinion, how are they denying him his right to bail? Number one, and do you believe Diddy will ever see the light of day on the streets
Do
again?
you want the
Considering
real answer? Or you just want the
I want,
fast?
I, it's because I'm I'll tell you why. I don't like what they're doing to him. I'm
Okay,
just be honest with you.
well, that's the real answer I'm gonna give you. So first of all, let's put this in context,
Okay.
okay? The first thing that the prosecutor, same people that's chasing Trump, first thing they did was they allowed the victims to sue up to a year.
Right.
I don't know if you ever been to court or been sued. When you go to court, you get sued, and it gets mediated and all that. You
Right.
got to be deposed. That's called a deposition. And when you do the deposition, you under oath. So you swear to tell the truth. So all those people that was deposed gave out information. Remember, it came out first about dude talking about TD Jakes might be in there and
Right.
the baby pod and all that. And she said Puffy did this. What did they do with that information? They went to the judge and got what? A search warrant.
Search warrant. Right.
They went to California to Miami. They searched his crib.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
They found evidence because they know that if everything here is true about him videotaping, they knew that it's beyond uh, criminality, it's psychological now.
Okay.
He's not giving those videos up
Mm.
because psychological, when you into that kind of stuff, you don't want to get it up. That is like a high to you.
Right.
And they knew that. All they need to do was get their hands on the video.
Mhm.
So now they got probable cause. They got to search for it. They go get the videos. Guess probably who in the videos? Everybody you and I
Everybody.
probably
That's
know.
right. That's
So now what they're doing, they're playing chess and not checkers.
right. Mhm.
So they holding him like they did Young Thug to confuse him and to make him make a decision. Because ultimately, we may be looking at P. Diddy, but they might want to they might want to look at a few pastors.
Right.
They might want to look at a few actors. They might want to look at a few politicians,
Mhm.
and they might have the pictures and they might need Puffy to say this, that, and the other. People think Puffy's the big fish, but they're not moving like he's the big fish
Correct.
because the Constitution give you a right to bail.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? So he should have got a bail after the fourth time. They should have just gave him a real harsh bail. Okay, he gonna be in this house. He got to be. We gonna he have guards at the house. He can afford that.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? But they got to give him the right to bail. Otherwise, you saying he's guilty until found innocent, not innocent until found guilty. Why would you have a man that's presumptive is presumed to be innocent in jail if that's the way your laws read?
Right.
Well, you obviously is trying to play chess. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? You obviously are trying to get this man to talk. And that's typical. I said on Boss Talk, I said, hey man, it's also a referendum to destroy, discredit, and demonize African American men. They did it to Bill Cosby. They did it to R. Kelly. They gave the man a sex trafficking case. Listen to what I'm saying, sex trafficking.
Right.
If you're spending money on prostitutes, that's not sex trafficking, that's chick trafficking.
True.
They should have gave him a chick trafficking case.
Mhm.
Sex trafficking is for pimping.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So everything that they done, even with R. Kelly, they gave him the same charge.
Mhm.
They gave R. Kelly, they stacked charges on top of charges. So even if he beat four of them, he still got one that still carry life. And that's what they're doing. They're playing chess and not checkers. And so they want Puffy to either snitch or there's some people, what you want to call them Illuminati, they're so powerful that they say, whatever you do, don't let that nigga out. And the reason why they don't want him out is because he probably has some evidence where he probably would do some stuff and talk to some people if he was free that could probably bring a whole empire down.
So why the hell they ain't go after Hugh Hefner the same way?
Because man, it's a white man's world. The white
Okay.
man can do what he want to do, and the black man can't.
Okay. Okay. I just wanted to throw that out there. I just trying to get some understanding because it seemed like the same type of party was going on.
It was even worse over there.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, think about it. When you get married, how old was you?
I've been married for 25, going on 26 years.
Did you throw a bachelor party? Did any of your partners ever throw a bachelor party?
Yeah, of course we
Have
have.
you ever been to one of your bachelor
I
parties?
used to throw 'em. I
Okay,
was the
so
one that was
that's
throwing
the
on football
same thing
parties.
Puffy doing.
Right.
He hired sex workers.
Right.
So they would have to indict the entire country. Every
Right.
time somebody get married, they got to indict them.
Correct.
You got to indict the man that's getting
Let's
married.
get married. Yeah. So let me ask you this, Ken, and we talking about tapes and all kinds of stuff. It was rumored. It was alleged.
Oh,
I
not
heard.
the, here we
I
go
heard
again.
somewhere.
Here we go again, man. Oh my God. Please, man. Come on. Let's go. Let's go.
I don't know if you got the tape. Pimp C had the tape. Somebody on the tape. I just heard about a sex tape with some high-ranking celebrities. I don't know if it was Beyonce, Jay Z, if it was Pimp C and Beyonce. I don't know what it was, who it was, but I need some
Well,
clarity on
well,
that.
definitely it wasn't Pimp C and it
Okay,
wasn't Jay-Z.
gotcha.
You know, it was an R&B chick. You know, it
Okay,
was several R&B chicks popping at that time. And it was a music mogul.
okay,
Jay-Z wasn't rich at that time. You know,
gotcha.
so everybody that keeps saying it's Jay-Z, they're absolutely wrong.
Right,
Now, as far as people saying I got the tape, if I had the tape, man, listen, man, I would not be sitting on no tape like that. That hey man, I'd be sitting on some tickets, man.
some,
But I probably do an OnlyFans and show it. You know what I'm
gotcha,
saying? So
gotcha.
that's not true. I don't have the tape. I believe
Okay,
that Pimp C deceased with the tape, and he never told me that it was cool to talk about nobody. So it
right,
came out accidentally on Boss Talk. Me and Bo was talking, and I said, "I bet you ain't seen the tape." And that's how the conversation. But the media won't let it die because they want to know, and I won't tell them. So I guess they gonna ask until I die. They gonna ask me that question.
right.
They gonna never let it die. People suggest, man. I had people cuss me out, call
Uh,
me all kind of names and
come
all
on,
kind of stuff in the comments. Like, yeah, man, you better tell it, dude. What I see you do. I'm a whoop the whoop the whoop. I'm like, they threatened me and
come
everything.
on.
Man, they want to see. Man, they want me to say who was on that tape. But then if I say, then they gonna say, why you snitching?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Man, you snitching on Pimp C, man, man, how Pimp wanted to, or they're gonna say, oh, you telling the story. So I just learned to just, kind of dodge it and
Uh-huh.
leave it alone. But, truth be told, man, it was an R&B chick, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it was somebody that we all know, but, they was very young
At the
and,
time, okay.
I don't know, they
Were they
could have,
trying to get into the game? Or they was, you know what I'm saying, doing what they had to do to get
they
into the
wasn't
game?
all the
Or they
way in
was
the game. They was hot, but they weren't in the game yet. It's a lot of hot chicks out at that time.
gotcha.
My Mariah Carey was hotter than the person I'm talking about.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So
Okay.
it was like, Whitney Houston was hotter than the person I'm talking about. So it was a lot of people,
Okay.
It's
Okay.
just that Pimp was in the studio and he walked in on it and he filmed it. And I think, that he just had it, he showed it to certain people. A lot of people know who it is.
Right. Right.
17 know who it is.
Yeah.
A few other people know who it is. I ain't the only person, so people that say I'm lying, they can talk to a lot of people. It's a lot of people know who it is, who it really is.
Right.
A lot of podcasts know who it really is.
Uh-huh.
They want me to say it.
Okay.
You say it.
Yeah, because that
Yeah.
makes it really official. So let me throw this up in here. Um, because I need to find out what's going on with you and Vlad and a situation that kind of transpired with Boosie. I don't know if he could have derailed a good business deal that was happening. What was going on with this Vlad TV stuff, man?
Well, Vlad, man, he is a good journalist. He do good journalist work. He has a lot of things that he do for the culture. But I think he got selective behavior, right? He
Okay,
picked certain people, and everybody requested an interview from Vlad for Pimpin' Ken. You interviewing all these so-called gangsters and killers and players and pimps and hoes, but you don't want to interview Ken,
right,
the most vocal, obviously, guy out here, the most reputable guy out here, the most respected dude.
right,
You know what I'm saying? And you look over that because people say, why you think that? Because years ago, he did something called Tiger Woods, where I talk about Tiger Woods. And I broke down Tiger Woods, relationship, and it did 10 million. It did 10 million views. And I called him and I said, Vlad, I did this many views for you, man. I need to do an interview. And he didn't call me back. So I kept calling him, and I think I kind of threatening. My son said something, not like a violent threat, but son said, "Man, what the FF," And ever since then, he refused to interview me. So I was with one of his camera crews, and he didn't know he was interviewing the dude Grady that played Biggie,
Okay.
and I jumped in the camera. I said, "What's up, Vlad?" He spoke, and I said, "Man, we need to do an interview." And he never responded back to me. Then
Okay.
one of his other guys called me and said, "Man, we want to get you on Vlad." I said, "Cool." And he attempted to put me on Vlad, and then when dude called me back, I could tell that it was a no go. So
Okay.
I was okay. This white boy really ain't fucking with me. He really don't like me. You know what I'm saying? For
Mhm.
whatever reason, he's holding a grudge. And then he gets on there, won't interview me, but say, "Hey, Boosie, is Ken telling the truth about a sex tape?" I'm like, "Man, why the fuck is you asking Boosie about me? Boosie don't know. He wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? Boosie don't know what tape I seen.
You
So
could
why
actually
is
he
you
could
doing
have
that?
talked to you personally
You
about
trying to
it. Yeah.
cause a wedge between. You
Right.
want Boosie to say something disrespectful, or derogatory towards me. And you want Boosie to unsolidify me in the streets. Because you feel Boosie say something and say, "No, Ken ain't right." Woo woo woo, that uh it would be solid. So at that point, I went in at his neck. I said, "Hold on, man. Wait a minute, man. Quit trying to bring African Americans against each other, man."
Right.
I said, "Boosie signed to me."
Yeah.
The next day, the next week, me and Boosie appeared on Drink Champs together.
Gotcha.
Then we appeared on Beehive together. You know what I'm saying? And I took him down there to 85 Soft to do an interview.
Okay.
You know, I'm not faking. The man signed to me.
That's
If you go look at his book, my face is in his book.
right.
If you go read the credits, I'm a literary agent. I'm not no fake dude. I don't know why you think I would be faking to try to get some clickbait on my partner. I ain't trying to get no clickbait off of Pimp C. Dude, I saw a sex tape. I mean, I really saw one. It was an R&B chick. So what do you want me to say? I mean, so you gonna ask him why would you ask him about me, but you won't have me on the show to ask me? That's what I knew, that he was a divide and conquer type dude. That's what I knew, that he didn't really respect the culture, or he respect African Americans. That's what I knew, that he was feeling himself. He had too much power, and he feel that he can use that power to try to diminish a so-called black man. And to make people think that, look, you know what I'm saying? Because this person said it, and I interviewed this person, and this person is credible, that this person is not credible. But he couldn't say it himself. He couldn't
Right.
say Ken is lying.
Right.
So he tried to get somebody else to say that I'm lying. Somebody that's credible. You know what I'm saying? It would have caused a wedge in the relationship. And then, me and him would have been going back and forth, and it would have been a beef. So, you know what I'm saying? Actually, he was trying to send my man out on a kamikaze mission.
Right.
He was trying to send him on a mission on me. They're trying to make it seem like me and him at it. So, being from the streets, I could read straight through that. I'm
Right.
like, man, that ain't cool. Why is you asking this man about a a tape? It, did I see it? Why would you mention my name but won't have me on the show? That is a double standard. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Right.
that's a weirdo-ness.
That's shit.
Yeah. So
That's what it is.
that's why I got on blind knuckles. You know what I'm saying? And if I ever see him, I'm gonna check him. You know
Okay.
what I mean? Because he out of order, man. You know what I'm saying? And you know, all these dudes killing these dudes out here, right? Man, I can snap my finger, man, in any city, and I can have something done to somebody. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these dudes, I know they do shows on them, and they do little programs on them. They say this dude is dangerous. No, dude, I'm one of the most dangerous dudes in America,
Yeah.
because I'm the most loved.
Right.
All the killers, all the gangsters, all the GDs, Vice Lords, Bloods, Crips, those are my guys.
Right. Known
I'm on the
everywhere.
block with them every day. You know, OG Money in Mississippi. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I mean, all the gangsters, they know me.
Yeah.
All the Bloods in Atlanta, and all the Crips, all the Crips in the Project of Bloods up there with Kendrick Lamar. I know them dudes personally. I deal with these dudes, man. You know what I'm saying? I know all the gangsters. I can snap my finger and have something done to somebody. But you know what I'm saying? They play with me, but they respect these other dudes that don't even have half the
No
reach I have.
credibility. No kind
Don't
of
have half
credibility.
the reach I have around the world. You
Right.
know, I'm the most dangerous man that ain't dangerous. You know what I'm saying? If I was a weirdo and I wanted to use people, man, I can have people whack every 5 minutes by just a phone call. You
Put
know
in
what I tell them?
conversation.
Man, put the guns down.
Right.
Man, stop selling drugs. Get you a business. You know what I tell the pimps? Man, make some music. You know what I'm saying? Get in the music game.
Yeah.
Because I really love my people, man.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to destroy my people. So when somebody like that try to bring a wedge between me and my people, it's confusing.
Yeah. Comfortable.
It's confusing. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm like, dude, you know, you scared of you scared of them, man. Man, I'm the one that can really have something done to you. If I was evil,
That's right.
if I was wicked, I'm not evil, wicked. So you ain't got to worry about me. I'm gonna laugh at you because I don't let nobody live in my head rent free.
That's right.
Drinking the poison and expecting Vlad to die, he's not gonna die. King gonna die. I'm not gonna drink poison and say I want Vlad to die. So I'm
Right.
gonna forgive him and forgive everybody around me.
Yeah.
So I won't have, forgiveness is a gift that I give to myself, not that I give to the clowns.
Right. Now let's talk about the hip hop fraternity right quick. Give me the rise on hip hop fraternity and everything that comes with hip hop fraternity.
But hip hop fraternity started in 2020. It's an African American think tank. It's on my jacket right here. Well, not this one, but okay, right here. That's our symbol. It stands for hip hop fraternity. So we started for the sole purpose to bring African Americans together. We seen that hip hop is a very divisive movement. We see East Coast versus West Coast, Death Row versus Bad Boy, No Limit versus Cash Money, and no wonder when we was looking for the word hip hop fraternity to trademark that it was available because the record label have such a divisive nature and they so used to pitting brothers against each other and try to get people to go and slide, on each other that they don't look at the possibility or the prospect of us coming together. So I had a mission on bringing my people together. So I use the hip hop fraternity as a tactic and a strategy, to bring African Americans together. And if you can see, if you look at the videos on my page, we got the Bloods, the Crips, everybody up under one umbrella because music unites us. That's one of the commonalities that we have is our music. Hip hop is the second largest exporter of music export in America. Hip hop is the new Black Wall Street. Create 5 billionaires, an untold amount of millionaires. One person in hip hop, Jay-Z is worth 2.5 billion. The GDP of Tulsa, Oklahoma in 1920 was 2.5 billion. So that go to show you that one person was worth the wealth of one community. Hip hop has made a lot of money. Hip hop is also part of American foreign policy. What do you mean, Ken? When these diplomats go over to these countries and they talk to these other diplomats, first they say, "Hey, you know Snoop Dogg? Do you know 50 Cent?" That's why you see Snoop uh, doing the Olympics. That's why you see Kendrick Lamar, and before that, Snoop and Dr. Dre and 50 Cent and Eminem crip walking at the Super Bowl
Mm-hmm.
because they love hip hop. So we understand that. But one thing I always said to hip hop fraternity is that it's our culture, our call. So we are the people that created that. Mexicans got tacos, they got burritos, they got avocado. Uh, Italians got pizza, they got spaghetti, they got meatballs. Asians got uh,
Shrimp fried rice.
shrimp fried rice, teriyaki, all that
Mm-hmm.
stuff.
Yeah.
Black folks got hip hop,
Mm-hmm.
you
Okay.
know.
So the fact that you just mentioned that, and you brought up, and I wasn't even gonna go into it because we've been chopping it up for a minute. I was about to close it up, but I gotta ask you this question because you brought the name up. Um, Kendrick Lamar
Mm-hmm.
and Drake.
Mm-hmm.
It was a classic rap battle.
Mm-hmm.
You seeing all the elements of back in the day, like a LL Cool J, Cool Mo Day type of situation, and they going at it. And they dropping some fire. I'm talking about from both camps, some awesome music. But now we're in a situation whereas Drake is suing UMG over Kendrick Lamar's release of They Like That, they Not Like Us because of the, and you mentioned this earlier, because of the pedophile statement or things along those lines. So he's suing him for defamation. So how does that tie into where hip hop or the culture of hip hop is going based on that move that Drake pushed out there?
Well, I think Drake is making a grave mistake
Okay,
because he got to understand the culture of the streets, right?
right,
So the streets is looking at it like, you know, he's he talking to them people.
right,
You know, they ain't looking at it like, you know, he's trying to strategically take all of the players out the off the board.
hmm,
That's what he's doing. He playing chess. He want to come at them and he's trying to secure his legacy and so on and so forth. But to do that and to say something about payola and all the other stuff he's saying,
yeah,
those are crimes. So that's gonna fall up on a category.
hmm,
You know what I'm saying? That I don't know if he want to be mentioned with. You know, that's like telling.
yeah,
So you know what I'm saying? That's one of the things that I think he's making a very big mistake on. So if I was him, I wouldn't have never said that because that means somebody might be going to jail. You know what
right,
I'm saying? And the defamation part, cool. But I would even say that because it's only hip hop.
right,
And you got it's a sport, you know, it's like WW. It's like WW wrestling, Pimp C used to say, you know, and you know, when he got at Meek Mills, he bodied him. Meek Mills didn't go to Universal.
that's right,
So, you know, that's one of the things that I think that is going to taint his legacy. But, you know, Drake is from Canada, right?
hmm,
And Drake has benefited from in a way nobody can understand. But I know it because I understand
right,
culture. So when you think of the people, the faith that he aligned himself with,
right. You can say it, the Jews. He's Jewish.
yeah, yeah. So the faith he aligns himself with,
Hmm,
his Jewish brothers,
right.
they have a duty and obligation to
To
make sure
support
that
and
he
make sure
stay
that he's
relevant
right,
for all these years.
right,
So any other artist, Nelly, 50, Wayne, once they get a certain plateau, the record labels go on a kamikaze calls and a destruction kick to destroy the artist because they don't want that artist to leave with none of that uh, culture capital. So they destroyed that artist. And you see 50 Cent last album doing like 50,000. Nelly couldn't sell over 100,000. Lil Wayne couldn't sell over 100,000 because that's part of the process. But consistently, Drake sold millions and millions and millions and millions of records, and did billions and billions of streams because, you know, the people that control that machine share the same faith with them. They're all Jewish brothers. They're all from the same family, you know, and their kids love Drake
right,
because he's one of them.
right,
So they're not going to destroy somebody that their kids love. But as faith always have it, you know, even a can of beans has a a can of beans has an expiration date. What goes up must come down.
mm,
You know, people don't understand that everybody has a Goliath.
right,
You know, everybody has a Goliath. You know, Kendrick was David. Uh, Drake was Goliath.
okay,
He took a little bitty rock, he swung it, and he hit Goliath, and he knocked Goliath off his pedestal.
right,
And you got to have a Goliath life. You know, everything in this world have a Goliath because everything that goes up must come down. So he was the David that Goliath uh, Drake. But Drake is he's spoiled.
okay,
He been on that. He been on that. He been on that popsicle so long
mm,
that he done suck it to the stick. Ain't no sickle left.
right,
You know, and to see people change on him, it's probably depressing, man. You know, Jay-Z said it best. Fame is a drug. That's why I always sell tapes. That's why I always go to the hood. I never wanted to be where I couldn't go to Walmart or
right,
Walgreens. So I always kept myself intertwined in the hood. I was never Hollywood, I was Hollywood. Because once you get there, you got to come down. And when, hey man, the same elevator you take going up is the one you got to take coming down. And going down ain't never pretty, man. You know, I I didn't fail thousands of times and came back, bounced back. But every time you fail, you shake your head. And Teddy Pendergrass, he says, like another love TKO. He said, I can't believe that I'm falling for the same thing twice. You know what I'm saying? So you just got to look at it, from that perspective, man. Drake had his day, you know what I'm saying, me, and you could tell he's sloppy now. The moves that he making, you know what I'm saying, he ain't making, he feel like a defeated warrior. He ain't making the moves of a warrior. Started coming back musically and bringing his campaign back on the man and hitting him where, he could hit him at, doing my research and find out what the man weakness is. But you got to remember, this man was sleeping. He was a sleeping giant. You woke him up. And when you woke him up, you know what I'm saying? You got to remember, the worst person to ever go against is somebody from the hood like Kendrick. But like he said, he wanted to be a black hippie. In his song, he said, I want the black hippie thing didn't work for me. But seeing the trauma, got PTSD, he got post-traumatic stress disorder. But he's so talented as being a hippie. Now what you're doing, you're taking him out of his hippie zone and taking him in his tourist street zone.
Correct.
So now you asking him to articulate all of the things around him and all the things that you went through as a hood nigga.
Yeah.
And now he's saying stuff that you can't even imagine.
Right.
So you don't even have the kit to respond to what he said because you never anticipated him to be of that caliber.
Yeah.
Real game ain't
And
transparent.
Drake never experienced that. He didn't grow up in that at all.
But see, the irony is not Drake. The irony is that Kendrick Lamar is from he hang out with Bloods. He's from the Blood Projects. That's the worst projects in LA, they say. They say them boys really get down, and these are his guys. These ain't just, he ain't just screaming like, hey, 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 or he paid for some security. He grew up with these dudes. Yeah. He's seen the same thing you see. That's why I say, they say, man, why you like white women when you was pimping? I said, the reason why I like white women because white women don't know what the black women seen the same thing I seen growing up in the hood. You hear Sexy Red now, and all them rappers making a stallion, they rap something colder than these dudes. They be talking about, watch me pop off, and I'm gonna shoot you with the wood. You be like, man, what they just say? Switches and fofo. I put the fofo down. You like, man, where these women learn that? They in the same environment. Right. So Kendrick in the same environment, but he's talented to play black hippie.
Yeah.
So you taking about the black hippie mode where he's still talented at,
right.
And he's still selling millions of records, and you asking him to come down here, where he come from, where he really from, and then you thinking, oh, he's a black hippie, he ain't gonna know what to say. I'm gonna body him. This is gonna be an easy one. Then he come up with all these metaphors and all these hood, what they call it, ebonics and all this stuff, man. This man just like. He's like, hold on, wait a minute. How you know about that? What you know about blood? What you know about woo woo woo? And that was the killer. The killer was hey man, my daddy always used to say, son, there's two things that you always got to watch out for. I said, what's that, Dad? He said, the element of surprise and 45.
Mm-hmm.
The element of surprise.
Yeah.
And I can bet you that Drake's so powerful that the people around him is gophers.
Yeah.
They ain't gonna tell him, man, don't do this, don't do that. Chill, man, do about their life. They ain't gonna tell him that. They gonna like get them, champ, and they gonna make sure they gonna say, you got that's cold, dog. You got him on this one. Oh, this one going, and it wasn't resonating because everybody from the hood listening to Kendrick, they know.
What are you talking about?
If you from the hood, Oh yeah, I know what he said.
Yeah,
Yeah, he said that. Oh yeah, and then he's a hippie enough to he know what button to push. Man, you call somebody pedophile. That I mean, white folks hate that.
that's right.
He was talking to the white folks and the black folks.
Yeah.
Then I heard his album, man. The album is smooth. Yeah, it's
You see
smooth.
J. Cole backed all the way up off of it.
Yeah. What
And
J
J. Cole, cold blooded.
but neither one of them has the real street credibility of Kendrick. I didn't know that until I went out to LA about 6 months ago and I was hanging out with the Project Bloods. And they told me what was going on. They were like, Kendrick, yeah, he
Yeah, that
one of
guy.
us. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm gonna close out on this, Ken, because I want to bring this up to you. And these guys are special to me, so I want you to go do some research on them, find out about them. One in particular is Keith Wallace. I mentioned Keith Wallace
Hmm.
to you before. Keith Wallace 305
Okay.
out of Miami. He lives in Atlanta now. So when you
Okay.
go to Atlanta, when you get to Atlanta, next time you're in Atlanta,
Okay.
I want to link y'all up, right?
Okay.
Um, I call him the messenger, bro. He is one of the coldest artists that's out there right now.
Okay.
When I'm saying he's been on 85 South, he's actually had real good conversations with Kodak Black. You know what I'm saying, trying to help young brother out. He's really out there on a positive crusade to change the hearts, minds, and souls of the younger generation.
Uh-huh.
Um, he was at the age of 14, falsely accused of robbing a white woman, sentenced to 6 years. They didn't send him to a juvie. They sent him
Prison.
straight to prison. Got out 21, 25. In between that space, he ended up, going back, doing some more bullshit, attempted murder charge, all kinds of stuff came down the pipe with him. But he changed his life at one point when his mom and his daughter died on the same day.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? Um, so when we talk about um, PTSD, that postpartum, and things that we go through living in these days, and knowing what Keith is trying to do, I really want you to check out this young brother, man,
Okay.
because he's got some really positive things going on, and I know that with your connections and the people that you talk to on a regular basis, if you mention his name, I can assure you they know him. I can assure you they know him, but I want you to get familiar with him because I want to do some real work with you in the future, with bringing you back to Mississippi, hosting shows, bringing you in for some things that we got going on here in the area, man.
Okay.
We talked about possibly doing the call-ins on our regular shows
Financial
here
literacy.
and talk about financial literacy because
Uh-huh.
that's one of the big things that you've been talking about. Getting us stable, getting our people on a good footing that way with the financial literacy side of it. So those are some things I wanted to mention to you, man. I appreciate you for coming out. Um, these long ass drive coming out of Milwaukee, man. To get
I
down here to Mississippi, you were in Vicksburg,
uh,
taking care of some stuff in Vicksburg, and you coming through to sit down with us on Industry Talk, man. It's an honor. I appreciate you, Ken. Look, anything you need that we can help you with along the way with HHF, the Hip Hop Fraternity,
hmm
please let us know because you do realize that we do business with Ricky, Freeway Ricky Ross.
Yeah, I was just with him.
Yeah, so you with Rick,
Yeah,
uh,
I got a
you got
message.
some.
Let me play this for your people because
Okay,
Rick, my man,
yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
because I'm doing
You got your movie coming out.
I'm doing a movie with him.
Director of books, Hip Hop Eternity. Be on the lookout for the making of the book, Fruit Ricky Falls, Untold Autobiography, coming out. Be on the lookout.
I'm play.
Yeah, play it again.
I'm play it one more
Yeah,
time.
play it again. Show him.
Yeah.
Show
What
him.
up, that's your man, Fruit Ricky Ross, Director of books for Hip Hop
He's
Eternity.
my director.
Be on the lookout for the making of the book, Fruit Ricky Ross, Untold Autobiography, coming out on Netflix. Be on the lookout.
Okay, so I'm doing Boosie's movie, Ice T movie, and Rick Ross movie and my movie. So what I do is I get book deals, and then I actually detail the situation.
Right,
I follow them around from step to step, the actual process of making a book. Then we turn it into a documentary, so
right.
the reader get a chance to see the artist or the author before they actually purchase the book.
Mhm.
Also, we're using it as a marketing strategy in order to sell more books so we can put more money in Boosie and Ice-T and Rick Ross' pocket,
Mhm.
as well as myself. So, we've been filming the documentary for a few years now.
Okay.
I did Boosie's completed, Ice-T's completed, we're completing Rick Ross, we completed mine.
Okay.
So, I'm a literary agent for Simon& and Schuster.
Right.
Like I said, I signed these guys to book deals,
Mhm.
and also, like I said, I have the hip hop fraternity, and they go to hhfmedia.com and they can go to the board of directors. They can see Rick Ross, Ice-T actually are board members. So this is a fast growing organization. People from all over the world that's participating. They go in there. Artists can show their videos. They can show their pictures. They can correspond with other artists, correspond with other celebrities. It's the only Black social media organization that's under hip hop. It's called Hip Hop Fraternity, thehiphopfraternity.com. And I am the CEO also of HHF Clothing. We also make jewelry. I have my own jewelry company. We make real jewelry, real diamonds, HHF Jewelry.
Mhm.
I have HHF Magazine, so artists can go there, hhfmag.com, and they can see all the latest news in hip hop. If you want to put your music on HHF Radio, I also have HHF Radio. And on April 15th this year, April 7th this year, we got the Hip Hop Fraternity Awards. So we believe at the Hip Hop Fraternity that we got to control the entire sphere. There's no longer a machine. We are the machine.
Right.
We have HHF Records. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Mike Fresh. Throw that ass in a circle.
Right.
She bounces where she walks. He's side of me.
Mhm.
I deal with influencers. So I've been working with all of the black millionaires, Him 500, El Stato, Papi Chula, uh, Ian Dunlap, you know what I'm saying? My man, 19 Keys, all these black millionaires, I've been working with them. And my man, Langston King, Floyd Mayweather's a business partner. I've been working with all these gentlemen.
Oh, Lank up in Memphis.
Yeah, like to
Mhm.
bring the business side
Mhm.
together, to teach financial literacy and teach these brothers, man, let's get money off the internet. Let's make real estate. Let's make credit gurus. Let's make that sexy, like we make robbing banks, like we make selling drugs, like we make all this other stuff sexy. Let's make something positive sexy, because these dudes is riding around in Lambos. They riding around in colors. They riding around in Wraiths and big jewelry on, and they
Mhm.
got it via the internet. They got it through credit repair. They got it through real estate. They got it through podcasting. So we got to figure out the on-ramp, which is the fourth industrial revolution, which is the internet.
Mhm.
I started my first website in 2000 on the Jermaine Dupri album. I said www.pimpin.com. Then on Lil Jon, I changed it www.pimpin.net. Celebrate switch to a drip job because it rhymed, and I was selling courses before all of these internet gurus and stuff like that. I was doing that 25 years ago.
Right.
I try to tell people, man, you can graduate from every university in the world. You get the highest degree. You can get PhD, which is the highest degree. You can become a doctor, but you never graduate from the University of Life. So I got the wisdom. I got the experience. One brother said, "Man, experience is the best the best teacher." But I said, "Shoot, ain't no advice like sacrifice."
Right.
People can tell you, some of the sacrifice that they made.
Mhm.
So that's what we try to do. We try to, we don't try. We put these brothers together, man.
Right.
And
Correct.
I have all the millionaires in Atlanta. I interview, and
Mhm.
I'm going to be working. I'm going to be throwing a wealth conference called Hip Hop Fraternity Wealth Conference.
Good stuff.
So we basically, because I've been in business so long. I did, Pimps Up, Hoes Down. Remember that? But I brought HBO to town.
Right.
They gave me six figures to do that. That was when I was a kid.
Yeah.
That was 30 years ago. I was in
Mhm.
my 30s back then. So they go to show you that, I've been on this business thing. I got real estate throughout the city of Wisconsin, had grocery stores and clothing stores
Mm.
in my 30s.
Right.
I've been doing business. I own my own publishing company, I own my
Mhm.
own literary agency.
Right.
I own the entire organization of hip hop fraternity. You know, It's a whole ecosystem to
Right.
synchronize, to develop and build the Black community, also to build wealth within our community by owning everything. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have HHF cafes. We're not going to the Hard Rock Cafe no more. We're going to HHF Cafe. So everything we do is all business. And I'm it's under HHF Media Group. And go check it out, HHM Media Group. We have over 100, we have over 1 million shares at $100 par value.
Okay.
So we worth 100 million just in stock. We're currently working out a deal with Langton Kane and a lot of, you probably heard me talk about this on Breakfast Club with Charlemagne. We're looking to get in what we call equity partnerships. So these people will get a percentage of the company in exchange, for their endorsement and for their participation. So we have our brokers meeting, and we get ready to do our second round of trying to get investors, with the venture capital. They'll be able to see these celebrities on board, which would take that stock 10x,
Right.
which would go from $100 per value to $1,000 per value, which would give us a $1 billion valuation,
Mhm.
and not including the amount of actual capital that we get for growth capital,
Right.
and that's what it's all about. It's all about scalability, being able to scale your company and get those per caps up to the level where you can actually do business on the same level, that Blackstone, and BlackRock is doing.
Right.
Because all they're doing is taking pension funds, police pension funds, fireman pension funds,
Mhm.
and other different funds, and they put it in one pool. That's why they're worth 11 trillion.
Right.
But the residue that they get
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
hundreds of billions.
Yeah. And they
You know,
invested it in the right place. They invested that money in the right place.
yeah, yeah. So if we had the money, we can invest in IBM. Most they stock is in Apple. We can invest in Apple too.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? If we can get all of the black businesses to come together, you and Boss Talk, and we all put $1 billion in a pot. All we gotta do is do the same thing they do. Now we got $1 billion. We can buy, a $500 million in Apple stock. If it go up two points, we didn't triple our money.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
So that's what we have to start teaching our young people. About the seventh power. Most families and most organizations got what they call the seventh power. You know, and what that does is 7 men at the top, and they responsible for the 7 man up under there who's responsible for the 7 man all the way to the seventh power. So when they get to the seventh power within millimeter seconds, they can tell you where they're going to invest at. They can tell you, what trends we're going to get. They can tell you when the World War III going to go. They can tell you whatever. And these are real groups, and they call think tanks. So we need to create those same think tanks for our community. We need to have, brothers and sisters that can collaborate and come up with concepts and ideals, to create group economics and group politics. We Kamala could have won or Trump could have won if we would have had the decisive vote.
True.
If we had a voting block and we had a PAC, political action committee, we could have said, okay, Trump, this is what we want. This is our ask. Politics is quick quo pro, favor for a favor.
Correct.
Politicians is prostitutes. You know what I'm saying? You could buy them.
Yeah.
I said we could have paid Kamala Harris a few thousand. We could have gave her that little extra 20, 30 points she needed.
Mm.
And that's what we got to start thinking. Like we got to realize that if I buy some rice, my brother, let's even be more frank about it. If 100 of us came together and we started Afro beauty stores, Afro little beauty stores the Asian got, and we flew over to China
Bought the hair and everything.
and we took all our money together, we can beat them people prices.
Right.
But you can't beat their prices if you ordered hair from China and they charge you $10, but the Asians paying $1 for it.
Correct.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a numbers game. They beating us with sheer numbers, so we don't understand group economics. All we understand is individuality. You know what I'm saying? They said when we get money, we go buy jewelry, we go buy this, we go buy that because we want people to know that we made it. And I understand because we come from slavery. We got that slave mentality. You know what I'm saying? I mean, when we got free, we want everybody to know you're free. You can't do that to me. I'm a free man. I was a free man. What you mean you're a free man? I was a made it. Look at me. You
Right.
know. And you know that you from Mississippi, you probably
Oh
say a
yeah.
bunch of these clowns act like
They're
that.
trying to move differently. At least I know what we do. I know what I've taught my sons to do, and even people that I do business with. Simply because we have to be smarter in the decisions that we make, the things that we invest in, and ownership is key. Um, Another thing that I talk to a lot of artists about, and I think it's really important, and they miss some of these steps. Um, is registering their music the right way and protecting their intellectual property through copyrights and registering with
Trademarks.
LLC and trademarks and the RIAA and some of these different bodies. And they sitting there wondering why they're not making money, either through streaming or even through just
Can I
online
say
sales.
something?
Yeah, please do, because I know you know.
Yeah, yeah. So I got a course that I teach about publishing, right?
No,
So I tell these young people, I said, man, why do you think that the record label always want to give you advance against your publishing? I said, because 89 years after your death, your publishing is still relevant.
right,
It's six slices of publishing. You get publishing from TV, from radio, from concerts, all that stuff. Then when they purchase your publishing, they don't focus on United States sales. They focus on international sales.
right.
So they take your music and they get a DJ or a white boy, that's well traveled, and they send them over there to the Guam. They send them over to the Philippines. They send them over there to Vietnam. They
Mhm.
send them over to Russia and to Ukraine. And they say, hey, can you play this music? But you got to play it techno.
Right.
So they're playing your music techno, and you don't even know it's your music unless you can. They taking all of the
The mechanical
different
records, yeah,
things out of there,
yeah,
but
all
but
of the
but
sound, but
but
yeah,
it's your music,
it's
so
yours.
it's getting international for publishing,
Right.
and they making a whole lot of money off your music. Dude say, "Well, man, I ain't tripping on that. I can't keep it. It's called Performance Right Organization,
Right. PRO.
CSAC, ASCAP, BMI.
Right.
Sign up with them, and they track your music because they get paid for tracking your music, and then you can sign up with a couple of the international ones."
Right.
So they said, well, how important is publishing? Okay, well, the guy that played for the Beatles, who was the drummer, he died. 30 years later, the lawyers watching America Most Wanted, and they see his son because the names is just too, it's so rare that this have to be his son. It
Mhm.
had to be his junior. Get in contact with the son. He had $3 million in copyright control. Where does copyright control? Copyright control is when they got your money and they can't find out who it belongs to. Anytime you go into a booth to do a song with somebody, if you say put that right there, you're part of that publishing.
Right.
If you do a song and you
Production
blend
credit.
a mechanical or a
Mhm.
writer's edge to it,
Right.
automatically you're supposed to get a split sheet.
That's right.
If you don't get a split sheet, the record label cannot take that money. You know why?
Mhm.
It's called the RICO Act, Continue Criminal Enterprise. So they don't mess with it. They put it in copyright control. So Michael Jackson, case in hand. This your audience is gonna love this.
Mhm.
He owned the Beatles publishing.
Right.
And within that publishing was a whole bunch of other artists that he had bought from Paul McCartney. So Sony had to make a deal with it's T something, TVT or something, but he had to make a deal with Michael Jackson to Michael Jackson owned half of the Beatles.
Right.
He owned half of the
And
Beatles
some other catalogs as well.
and
Yeah.
some other catalogs as well. But half of Sony, I mean.
Right.
But here's the irony. He was staying at a house that cost $100,000 a month.
Mhm.
And they said, why would he do that? Because the man getting all of the interest off of these songs that's in copyright control.
Yeah.
He can still draw the interest. He just can't take the song. He
Right.
can't take the money. So he draw interest off of billions of dollars. So when he died, Janet Jackson sold it for over $1 billion. Michael Jackson is the only person in conspiracy theory world that I believe that actually was killed by the Illuminati. because he's the only person
That
that
much
they have a
control.
valid reason to kill.
He had too much
And
control.
the things that was going on with him, with the doctors and stuff like that, and the kind of stuff they was putting him on, and the people they had him around, it all makes sense. Whitney Houston, she dead too. But what people don't understand, it's a movie called The Bodyguard. In that movie, Whitney Houston sung a song, "I Would Always Love You." Remember that?
Yeah.
It's the #1 song that people get married. It's like doing trillions of views on YouTube's.
Right.
Guess who's getting paid? Dolly Parton. That's her song.
That's her song.
She
Right.
owns the publishing to that. That's how important publishing is. Sir Mix-a-Lot,
That's
I
right.
love big butts.
That's right.
He done made 100 million in publishing. He made more in publishing than he actually made as a artist
That's right.
because they play that song everywhere. They remix it. They do this, that, do that, this, that, the other.
Just recently, they had a commercial that used it. I forget which one of those commercials.
Nicki Minaj remixed it.
Okay, she
He
remixed
owns
it too.
100% of that song.
Right.
So that's why it's important for young people to own their publishing. That's why it's important for young people to understand the music business. You got to know what an escalation clause is, a de-escalation clause. It's certain negotiations that you must be privy to in order and cognizant of before you go into a deal. When I did the deal with Boosie and I did the deal, I read those contracts thoroughly. You know, Boosie signed it. Ice-T read it over and over again, sent it back to me, said, man, only part that I don't like is that they can make a movie and well, I said, well, you know, they probably won't make a movie. He said, I don't like it. So we extrapolated that out of the contract.
Right.
You got to have a lawyer.
Yeah.
Don't never do nothing without a lawyer.
Correct.
When you go in to make, because it's so simple. I did an appeal uh, on a case I had. You know, I didn't think the lawyers could give me a fair deal, so I did the appeal. And when I went into the court, the judge said, "You sure you want to represent yourself?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "You got a fool for." He said, "You got a fool for a client or a fool for a lawyer. Which one is it?" I said, "I'm gonna represent myself." He said, "Well, if you're gonna represent yourself," he said, "you don't need to say you're gonna represent yourself. You need to understand the Latin of this court." He said, "You need to understand I'm gonna represent myself per se." When he said that, man, I dived into those law
It's a
books,
law library.
and I just read everything I get my hands on, and I understand that law is jurisprudence is Latin, business is Latin. You don't say I got an LLC when you go to the bank. If you say you got an LLC, that's just like a pretty woman said, I got green eyes, I got blonde hair, and I got nice boobs, I got a tight vagina, but I'm limited. You can't have sex with me, you can't kiss me, but I'll be yours. That's limited liability. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So you go in there, you say, I got a C corps or S corps. You know what I'm saying? You show that you filed another 1123. I got a holding company. I got other companies that are, that have paid their net and have, a 80 score on down in Bryant Street. You got to let them know, all of these things in order to let them know that you understand business.
You can speak the language.
You can speak the language
Right.
because they speak a different language. You know what I'm saying? Other than, what you hear on the internet.
Yeah.
So these are things that I try to teach them, like, man, you can own an S corps. You can put your mama house up under there. You can have 9 children.
Mm-hmm.
You can have I said I got HHF Media Group, which is the holding company. Then I got subsidiaries. I got HHF Clothing, I got
Right.
HHF Radio, HHF Magazine,
Right.
and each one of these I can file up under 1123. I can file them together, and I owns nothing.
Correct.
I don't own nothing.
And don't draw any income.
No, I don't own nothing.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? If I got a salary, you know what I'm saying, or a bonus, you know what I'm saying, I can.
Yeah.
But the company own everything.
That's correct.
You know what I'm saying?
Best
Yeah.
way to have it. Best way
And
to
they
have
gotta know about trust, which I don't want to get into. That's too much. That's too
it.
much.
Yeah, it's a little in depth, but we could hold that for another conversation because we definitely need to talk about it and bring it to the table because people don't know about irrevocable trust or custodial trust or things of that
Man, they
nature,
don't know about that.
to help them in case of their demise, so that you don't go through probate. You don't have to go through arbitration in the courts. Don't
Mhm.
sit there and disperse your properties and your assets the way that they feel like it, because
Mhm.
you are. It's not. And these are things that have stronger ties than just your last will and testament. You see.
Yeah, they
Um,
my people down in Oxford, we got 80 acres.
uh,
And my uncle, man, he said about it's in probate. I said, but he was able to change the name from Eleanor Ivy to one of my cousins. I said, man, listen, Uncle, I don't know who the hell you think I am.
mhm.
I said, but that damn shit ain't in no probate. You
Right.
couldn't even do that
Couldn't do that. That's right.
if it was in probate.
That's right. The court's not gonna allow it.
And he kept trying to tell. I said, Uncle, I'm shy.
Mhm.
I said, I'm shy, man. I said,
Mhm.
man, I know I don't look like what I've been through.
That's right.
I said, but man, I know what I'm talking about.
Mhm.
When it comes to law and courts and stuff like that,
Right.
I'm pretty cognizant of what's going on.
Mhm.
And it's just certain things that you have to understand. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because like I said, it's Latin. Nobody. It's called legalese. If you don't know what's going on, man, you don't. Man, I seen so many words when I was studying law. I never been to law school. I just wanted to try it because all my friends did it in jail. So I wanted to. I had a little situation that I wanted to appeal. And I took it all the way to the Supreme Court. And that's why I know about the Rule 32,
Right.
plain error.
Right.
And I was able to get that shit overturned because it was some bullshit they was on.
Okay.
But I learned a lot, and then that made me more analytical in my business endeavors. So I started reading business law,
Mm.
and understanding business. Man, it's like 400 terms that I can tell you that you must know in
Right.
business. And some of it you think that you know it, and you might have heard it on a Bloomberg channel or something like that, or CNN,
Mhm.
but it has nothing to do with what it says.
Right.
And you got to learn these things because when you deal it, I tell my team, my COO and my CEO all the time, because we're currently at the fundraising level, where we're trying to raise funds and we working with venture capital. We done did pitch decks and all this stuff, right?
Right. Okay.
And I was telling them, I said, look, man, this pitch deck is easy. I said, but I'm going to give y'all, I personally wrote the words, I'm going to give y'all these 300 words that you must know. And I gave it to them. They said, well, why we need, I said, it's going to come up in the meeting.
Right.
I said, these folks talk this stuff every day. It's like,
You
it's
gotta
like
know
one,
when you
two,
hear
three.
it.
I
Right.
said, so you might as well. So when they said, I don't want no hiccups, but we asking for millions of dollars,
Right.
and people, they said, well, Ken, where you learn that? Man, game is game.
That's right.
I don't even read. I don't go to school for the uh the courses. I don't go for the curriculum. I go to peep the game. Whenever I read a book, man, bro, I promise you, I don't even read the book like that. What is the game in this motherfucker? You know what I'm saying? What is dude really trying to say? You know what I'm saying? And I always extrapolate the game. And it's always some game in there. Success leave clues. That's why my next book I'm writing is on a level that they would think a white man wrote it. Because I'm actually going to dissect Cornelius Vanderbilt, Reuben Murdoch,
Okay.
Dale Carnegie, Bob Johnson, Magic Johnson,
Mhm.
all of the millionaires that ever became millionaires. My next book is going to explain
Mhm.
how they did it, and I'm gonna do it on a conversational level, right?
Right. And that
And
Rupert Murdoch, that's a Warren Buffett partner.
yeah,
Yeah.
but what people need to know,
Mhm.
my brother, is how did everybody achieve the level of success that they did?
Right.
What are the clues? What are is it desire? Is it persistence? What was it? Each one of them had a strong attribute or a special talent that connote who they became.
Right.
And I want to do that. I want to do it on a Robert Greene not a Robert Greene, but a Think and Grow Rich level or
Yeah.
Kiyosaki level.
Yeah.
But I want them to see that an African American is that intelligent, and I can write it in such a way you would never know that I wrote it,
Right.
that an African American wrote. And then when they find out that I'm African American, that's when I want to shock them.
Okay.
You know, that's my next book. It's a enigma. It's like I have to do it because I know I'm that deep. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I can't be that deep with my homies in the hood. You know, we
Hmm.
we 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 on some other stuff. But in my mind, because I got it's 90% of it's in my phone.
Hmm.
You know, I have to do it. I just have to. I have to do it. You know, because and I'm gonna tell you why I want to do it. Then we'll leave. You know, so I have two books, right?
Okay.
Pepology, The 48 Laws of Game, and The Art of Human Chess, The Study Guide to Winning. And people will get it at audible.com. Just type in A Pimpin Ken, it'll pop up in the search box. So when I first did the book Pepology, what made it a bestseller, Simon Schuster got in the prison system for me.
Okay.
So they got a list of books you can order in prison, right? So out of 100 books, my book was on there, which has never been an African American book on there. You know, so my book is on there, and the book is selling like crazy. The guards in the prison system said too many people requested this book. We banning that book. We banning The Art of War, and we banning 48 Laws of Power. They banned 48 Laws of Power, 48 Laws of Game, Pepology by Me, and Art of War. You can't have those books in certain prisons. So I said, I'm gonna give these niggas the game on a whole other level, and I'm gonna write it like a white boy, you know what I'm saying, me, or like another ethnic group, and I'm gonna just use caricatures. You know, I'm gonna use the people that I'm talking about, and I'm not gonna put my picture, no.
Right.
I just might put my initials KI on there,
Mm.
Arthur KI. And I'm
Right.
gonna see if it goes through the prison. Then I'm gonna sue them motherfuckers, man.
Hmm.
I'm like, I'm gonna sue
Okay.
the shit out of them. Yeah.
Well, we're gonna get into that too. But look, man, we've been going at it for 2 hours, Ken, whether you realize it or not. And it's always good to know that a good conversation just leads into great things. So I appreciate you for coming out. We're gonna close out on that note. This has been another great episode of Industry Talk on Primetime Pod with Mr. Ken Ivy, aka Pimpin Ken. And before we go, give them a drop on how to get in contact with you on your social medias. Drop their website again for HHF, and we're gonna close out that way.
Okay, if you want to get in contact with me, you could contact me anytime, anywhere at Real Pimp Ken underscore on IG or the same on Snapchat. Also, if you want to get my book, you can go to audible.com and listen to it right now. It's a good book. It's Pimpology, The 48 Laws of Game, or The Art of Human Chess, a study guide to winning. You can see how I think. You can see all the moves, all the game that I got just by going there. Or you go to Amazon.com if you like the physical book in your hand. You go to Walmart.com, BarnesandNobles.com, Books a Million. Anywhere books is sold, you can find both of my books. Uh, I am the founder of the Hip Hop Fraternity, which is this big gold chain on my name, on my neck. You can go and check this out at hhfmedia.com. The word media.com. hhfmedia.com. And you can join for free. Just sign up. It's free. You can come to Atlanta anytime and you can perform for free. We'll be at the Ice Bar, 5456 Fayetteville Road, Atlanta, Georgia. You can perform for free, you can get in free, and you can park for free. And if we have our event at our studio, you can also eat for free. So everything I do out of my pocket. I don't charge anybody. I'm a philanthropist. You know, that's why I travel around the world doing these podcasts. You know, yeah, they pay me, but hey, so what? You know what I'm saying? I take the money and I pay for the gas and the hotels and stuff like that, you know. But I don't ask them for the money. They just, they make money, so they look out for me. You know, Charlemagne, all the people looked out for me. So, and what else I want to say? That's it, man.
Um, You also got your jackets for sale.
Oh yeah. If you
Yeah.
want to get the jacket, also hit me up at 404-790-9627. We customize them. You could go see on Yuck Mouth, you can go on Breakfast Club, you can see Charlemagne, Envy, and Jess Hilarious wearing the jackets.
Nori on Drink
Yeah,
Champs.
Nori on Drink Champs. We got Floyd Mayweather a jacket. We got my man a jacket. We got Freeway a jacket. We got a whole bunch of jackets coming. So if you want your jacket, you want to be a part of the culture, it's got the 50-year anniversary. So we got the 50-year anniversary jackets. And like I said, also if you're an HHM member, you want your chain, we got my jeweler that make them. My man Father Divine, he make them from scratch. You know what I'm saying? Custom. You want bigger diamonds, you have bigger diamonds. You want little diamonds, you have little diamonds. You don't want no diamonds, we'll make them to your specification.
Yes, indeed. And we appreciate you for coming out.
Man, I
Um,
appreciate you for having me,
yeah.
man. Even though I don't know where we at. I still appreciate,
We in the
man.
middle of nowhere.
Hey, man,
We in the
hey,
deepest part of South that you will
hey.
ever
I
see, my
started to
brother.
turn around on him, man. I was like, man, wait a minute. Especially when I see that little ditch, I said, oh no. Man, I get a flat tire out here, I'm through.
You know,
I know you would have came and got
oh,
me.
definitely question, man, without question. And we gonna close it out on that, my brother. You've been locked into another great episode of Primetime Pod. Major salute to our guests, and remember, ain't no time like prime time. This your main man, Big G, with Industry Talk, and remember to like, share, and subscribe to our network, Primetime Pod. And as always, beautiful people, it's about health, wealth, and wellness. You've been locked into another great episode of Primetime Pod. Major salute to our guests, and remember, ain't no time like prime time. This your main man, Big G, with Industry Talk, and remember to like, share, and subscribe to our network, Primetime Pod. And as always, beautiful people, it's about health, wealth, and wellness.